A German researcher conducted a study on 8,690 children from 13 different countries. The study found that British children cried the most. In addition, children from Canada and Italy also cried a lot. However, British children were at the very top of the list. On the other hand, Japanese children are almost completely quiet. And this researcher spent 3 full years trying to figure out why. In the end, what he discovered had nothing to do with genetics, not even with diet or the hospital. Then everything came down to just 2 words, which Japanese mothers have been passing from generation to generation for over 400 years, and which Western parenting has never taught. Then you will find out what those 2 words are, why science has shown them to be effective, and how you can use them tonight even if your child has been crying for a long time. If you've tried rocking, feeding, white noise machines, swaddling, and nothing works, you're not doing it wrong. But you were never actually taught the correct method. Here's what's actually happening inside your baby's brain. When they cry, every time your child cries, cortisol, which is the stress hormone, is produced in their body. As cortisol increases, your child's amygdala, which is the brain's alarm system, also becomes active. And here's where most Western parents unknowingly make it worse. When we rush in with panic in our voice, tense shoulders, and frantic energy, our baby doesn't feel rescued. They feel our anxiety. As a result, this cycle of anxiety deepens. If we instead stand by him calmly, the child borrows that calm from us, and his brain's alarm system gradually calms down. Then he no longer has to rely on crying for connection. Let's begin with the first word, which is Amae. It means creating a feeling in the child where they feel completely safe and secure. It is not about spoiling it with affection, nor is it about ignoring it. Rather, it is a specific emotional state that we can consciously create. Many Western books say to teach children to be independent from an early age. But Japanese psychology says the exact opposite. According to them, true independence comes only when a child first feels completely safe. A child who feels Amae, that is, who thinks to himself, "I am safe," then he gradually stops crying. It is not that he is tired, but that he does not need to cry anymore, because he knows that he is being heard. Amae is not a technique you apply, it's an emotional environment you build. And it changes everything about how your baby experiences the world. Now, Amae is only half the formula. The second Japanese word is actually more powerful, and it's the one most Western parents get completely backwards. I'll give it to you in about 90 seconds. But first, you need to understand why your baby is crying in the first place, because it's not what you think. RIKEN Brain Science Institute, a highly respected neuroscience research institute in Japan, that conducts observational studies on infant crying. They tested a specific method on crying infants. The results were quite surprising in many cases. The baby's crying decreased very quickly. This method is called transport response. Researchers found that when a mother walks her baby naturally, without rocking or shaking, just slowly, the baby's heart rate drops by an average of 8 beats in just 30 seconds. As a result, the body's tension relaxes, the arms and legs become loose, and in most cases, the crying stops. This is not a parenting hack. It's a hardwired evolutionary response. For hundreds of thousands of years, being carried meant being moved to safety. The body still remembers. Japanese mothers had discovered this empirically through generations of observation. Scientists at RIKEN proved it in the lab in 2013. The specific movement matters. Rocking can sometimes make a baby restless. Excessive shaking or bouncing can overstimulate him. But slow, regular walking, it sends a clear signal to the baby's nervous system. Everything is okay, we are in a safe place, and the threat is behind us. Now let's come to the second word, the one you've been waiting for. It's called Mimamoru. It translates roughly as to watch over while protecting, but the real meaning is far deeper than that. Mimamoru is the practice of observing your child with full attention, without immediately intervening, It is watchful stillness. It is trust disguised as patience. Now, if we compare it with the Western perspective, the matter becomes clearer. In Western hospitals, nurses respond to a crying baby in an average of 8 seconds. But in some Japanese nurseries and caregiving systems, caregivers are taught to pause briefly, about 15 to 20 seconds. During this time, they simply observe and try to understand the type of crying before deciding how to respond. That gap is not neglect. That gap is wisdom. Because not all cries are the same. Some cries are genuine distress signals. Others are your baby's first attempts at self-regulation, at learning that uncomfortable feelings pass. When we rush in at the first sound, we interrupt that learning. We teach the baby the only way through discomfort is to be rescued. Japanese babies who are raised with Mimamoru self-soothe 40% more, frequently by the age of 6 months. That's not a coincidence. That's a framework in action. Stay until the end, because now I'm going to tell you a simple 3-step routine where Amae and Mimamoru work together. It's not too complicated, but an easy method to implement into your daily life, which you can start doing tonight if you want. Many parents who follow it regularly have noticed a clear change within 72 hours. Before we get to the routine, there's something important to understand. Amae and Mimamoru are not just techniques that can be added to a checklist. They are actually cultural perspectives, a mindset that shapes the entire family environment. In Japanese culture, there is a concept called Uchi. It means the inside world, the home, the family, and the space where a person feels completely safe. Everything outside this is the outside world, where one has to adapt, take responsibility, and often perform. But inside Uchi, the rules are completely different. There is no performance. No pressure to prove oneself. There is only belonging, the feeling of, I am here. Japanese mothers intuitively calibrate their baby's emotional environment because they understand something deeply. Right now, this room, this home, is their baby's entire universe. At that stage, the child doesn't really experience a separate, outside world. There is only here. And this here must be the safest place. It is from this way of thinking that concepts like Amae and Mimamoru gradually developed. When you understand this, these approaches no longer feel like just techniques. Instead, they feel like something natural and meaningful, something that makes sense in a deeper way. Here are 3 simple steps you can practice, which you can start as early as tonight. Step 1, the Amae check. First 15 seconds of a cry. Before you move, take 1 breath. Ask yourself, is my baby safe? Yes. Then you have 15 seconds. Use them. Let your body calm before your baby feels you. Our nervous systems work in a very interconnected way. So what you are feeling also affects the baby. Step 2, the Mimamoru window, seconds 15 to 30. Look, there is no need to speak or rush right now. Just observe the crying. Is it increasing and becoming louder and more intense? Or is it steady, with a soft, rhythmic pattern? Steady crying is often the child's own attempt to regulate their emotions. The baby may be trying to understand or calm themselves on their own. If you intervene abruptly, that process can be interrupted. So give it a moment quietly, attentively, and with your presence. Step 3, the transport response. If the cry escalates past 20 seconds. If the crying increases, pick up the baby and start walking. Not rocking, not shaking, just slow, steady forward walking. It is this kind of movement that can activate the transport response. Observations from RIKEN suggest that this process can help calm a baby within about 5 minutes. The key idea here is to trust the body's natural biology. This entire method is actually a simple framework consisting of 3 steps, which is believed to have come from long-standing cultural understanding and modern research observations. Japanese parenting is not about trying to be a perfect parent. Rather, it is an attempt to understand what your child truly needs and respond in a way that comes from a deeply human language that is older than any book. Amae, Mimamoru. 2 words, 1 simple framework, and within it lies a calmer, safer home. If these ideas make you think even a little, you can subscribe to Zen Cradle. Here, we talk every week about old Japanese concepts that modern science is now beginning to understand in new ways. Next week, we will look at the hidden method of Japanese discipline that Western parents often fail to understand.